Welcome, one and all. Welcome to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. I am your host, Kevin King. He is I, and I am him. Slim with the tilted brim. Again, it is Kevin King, the 800 Credit Score Man. All of my hip-hop heads, they're between, I say, 40 and 50. They probably know where that came from. So, hey, welcome again to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. Today, we're going to explore what's actually on your credit report. Some people just don't know what's on their credit report. I was looking at and actually giving out some incorrect information. I've been going off an old study that said 27% of people have never checked their credit report. But while I was doing some research and preparing for this week's show, I found new data that says a full third, 33% to be exact, 32.7% of people have never checked their credit report. And I found that to be stunning. I thought 27% was bad, but it's even worse than I thought. 33% of people have never checked their credit report for one reason or another. But it's very important that you check your credit report so you know where you stand, whether you think your credit is good or you think your credit is bad. It's important that you check your credit report, even if it's just for accuracy, to make sure that everything on it is correct. So people, check your credit report out there. I'm going to answer today where you can check your credit report and where you can check it for free during the show as well. As a matter of fact, I might as well go ahead and do that right now. Where can you get your credit report? Where can you get it and get it for free? Well, the Fair Credit Act has given all of us the opportunity to check our credit report from the three credit bureaus, which are TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. We can check our credit reports for free on a 12-month rolling basis. So once every 12 months, you can check your credit report totally for free. And you can also, if you have applied for credit and been denied before, they'll send you a letter in the mail. That letter gives you the opportunity to get your credit report as well, totally for free. So you can do that as well. But here's where you get your credit report. www.annualcreditreport.com. That's all one word, squished it all together. www.annualcreditreport.com is where you can get your credit report for free on that rolling 12 basis. So if you check your credit report today and you go on to www.annualcreditreport.com and you check your credit report today, then in another 12 months, you can check it yet again for free. So you don't have to wait on a calendar year. It's not January to January or January to December, but actually on a rolling 12-month basis where you can check it. And there you'll find you can get TransUnion, you can get Equifax, and you can get Experian. You can get all three. Now, unfortunately, you do not get a credit score when you go there, but you are able to get your actual credit report. So that's what you can do, and that's where you can go. So make sure you go there. And I've warned people before, do not Google this. Because if you Google it, what'll happen is you'll find yourself somewhere where they'll be trying to charge you for it, things of that nature. So make sure you go directly to the website, www.annualcreditreport.com, and check your credit report. You don't have to check all three at the same time. I don't check all three of mine at the same time. I do a strategy in that regard. And if you want to know, I'll just tell you what the strategy is. So here's what I do to check my credit report. I use the three different credit bureaus, and I just space them out throughout the year. So I use for me, a significant month, and I think you should do the same thing. So my birthday is in April, so I check my credit report in April. Let's say I'll check TransUnion in the month of April. Then I'll check my credit report because I'm a big shopper for the holidays. I'll check my credit report prior to Black Friday. So I'll be checking my credit report probably on Equifax in the month of November. And I'm just checking for accuracy, see what the balances are on there, see if I have any inquiries that I'm not familiar with, things of that nature. And then I'll check it again in, say, the month of January or February. After I have spent all that holiday money, I'll check it again just to make sure that the balances are correct. Make sure that nobody used a card that I left somewhere or something of that nature, just to make sure everything is above board. So I check it just like that for me. You don't have to check all three of them at the same time, so do it as you please. But that's how I check it and for me, I think that's a good strategy. It actually prevents fraud because you're checking it yourself. You're checking it on a periodic basis to make sure that everything is safe and everything is kosher. So go to www.annualcreditreport.com and check your credit report. Do it today. All right, so let's get into what's on your credit report. So what is on your credit report? Let's start from the top. And I'll tell you guys, when it comes to your credit report, they all pretty much look the same. No matter whether it's Equifax or TransUnion or Experian, they pretty much all look the same. For me, what I have done is, for today's show, I looked at an Equifax credit report, and I started just going down it. I compared it to a TransUnion credit report, and they pretty much look the same. So there may be a little variance depending on which one you're looking at, but here's what's on your credit report. Starting from the very beginning of your credit report is going to be your name, your government name. If you have a maiden name, for all the ladies that are married or have been married before, your maiden name is also going to be on your credit report. There are no nicknames on your credit report. So no nieces, no boo-boos, no man-mans, anything of that nature. So that's not going to be on your credit report. But your government name will be on your credit report. And there may be a variance in there. So I probably have filled out applications that just say Kevin King. So Kevin King is on there. I might have filled out applications that have Kevin L. King. That's my middle initial. So that would be on there as well. If you find that there are names on your credit report that are incorrect or the spelling was wrong or anything of that nature, make sure that you contact the credit bureau and let them know how to spell your name or how it should be done. Oftentimes people put in the application, someone else is taking your information and they may spell your name wrong. So make sure that your name is spelled correctly on your credit report as well. If it's not, contact that specific credit bureau and let them know what your name is and how it's actually spelled and spelled correctly. Then what else is on your credit report? So let's move down a little bit. Your Social Security number should not be on your credit report. Not the entire thing. The last 4 digits of your Social Security number may be on your credit report. It may or it may not be on there. If you find that your entire Social Security number is on your credit report, please contact the bureau and have them remove it. That is dangerous when it comes to fraud and what have you, to have your entire Social Security number on your credit report. So make sure that you check that portion of the credit score, the credit report as well, and make sure that your entire Social Security number is not on there as well. Now, here's something that oftentimes gets overlooked, and I know I have done it, overlooked it myself. But employment, your employment is on your Social Security, on your credit report as well. So you want to make sure that that's correct as well. So it's important, especially if you are, let's say, credit score challenged. If you're credit score challenged, your employment or the correct employer is very important. And this is why. When you fill out an application, that information that you fill out, it should match on your credit report. And if it does, it simply breaks another barrier for you, especially, again, if you're credit score challenged. It breaks another barrier for you. So when the person on the other end is looking to see about approving your application, it's good for that information to match. And here's why I say that. Let's say that information does not match. Now that person has to do additional investigation, if you will, to make sure that you are you and that you actually work at the place that you say you work at. So that could be a barrier for you. Maybe it's like you have another strike, if you will, because you have, a low credit score. And then now we're not sure if your employment is correct or not. And then let's say we add in the fact that maybe you lived at your current residence just 6 months or something. So now you have a short residency as well. Now, the industry would say that these people don't necessarily pay that well. And then they may be hard to find. If we lend them money, it may be difficult for us to get that money back because we can't find these people. And maybe they just miss, when we send out the statement, they just miss it because they moved yet again. And then we're not sure if they're going to stay at that employment that they were at because they only been there 6 months. So those could be barriers for you. So that information needs to be correct on your credit report. And let's do it like this. Let's take this example right here. Let's take basketball. In the NBA, you get 6 fouls and then you're out of the game, right? So each one of these items is a foul. Let's look at it like that. So you have a low credit score. That's foul number 1. Now your employment doesn't match your application and your credit score and what you put down. So that's foul number 2. Then you have a short residency. That's foul number 3. Now the game hasn't even started and you already have 3 fouls. 6 fouls and you're out. So make sure that information matches on your credit report with your employer. And I am guilty of this as well. I want to say my credit report does not have my current employer on there at all. So it's important that you do so, especially if you are credit score challenged, if you will. All right, so let's move on. What else is on your credit report? What else? Your address. This is very important again. We just talked about your residency and say you had only been there, 6 months. It's important that your address is correct on your credit report as well. Again, it's just another barrier. It's another barrier for people when it comes to trying to be approved for some type of loan or wherever you're trying to do, and somebody's looking at your credit report that your address match. If your address doesn't match, then here we go again. You have another foul. You got low score. You got an employment issue, a short time at your residency, and now your address doesn't even match. So you got 4 files, and again, the game just started. So make sure that information is correct on your credit report as well. Now, I want to I want to talk a little bit about the accounts, and I'm going to go into some detail about the accounts that are on your credit report. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually save that to the second half of the show, talking about the accounts that are on your credit report in detail. Let me skip a little bit down to what else is on there. Your inquiries. I talk a lot about inquiries because people kind of dismiss it. It's not something that you can really dismiss. Of course, I've told you guys before that you get dinged, if you will, on your credit report 2, 3, maybe even 4 points by having inquiries on there. And these are hard inquiries. The hard inquiries are when you're trying to get credit from somewhere, from someone. So you get those, 2 to 3, 4 points every time you get an inquiry. Those are on your credit report for sure. Now, 1 or 2 are considered perfectly fine, but just 6 is considered poor or bad if you have 6 inquiries. I have clients that have 15, 25, 30 inquiries on their credit reports. And so just imagine if it was 2 points per inquiry and you had 25, your credit score has dropped by 50 points just because people are inquiring about on your credit. So make sure that you take a look at those things as well when you're looking at your credit report. But that's something that's definitely on your credit report. It's also important that you look and see who is inquiring on you. Make sure that if you went to a car place, that car place is on there. Make sure that there aren't other inquiries on there, because this could actually help you protect yourself from some kind of fraud. What if somebody was trying to put in an application on you somewhere else and you had no idea who they were? If you find something irregular on your credit report anywhere, but especially with the inquiries, make sure that you go ahead and contact the credit bureaus, and try to inquire and investigate it yourself to make sure that everything is on the up and up. So yes, inquiries are absolutely on your credit report, and that's something that you need to take a look at. In addition to that, your collections are on your credit report, and they